right.
Yeah, tell me about blue carbon.
So blue carbon is the carbon stored in the coastal and marine ecosystem, such as mangrove, seagrass, salt marshes.
Right.
And we know that in Indonesia, we have a top one potential of blue carbon of the world at 17%.
Comprised of 7% is
in Indonesia and comprised of mangrove and also seagrass.
So we can supply all this blue carbon from the Indonesian sort of resources, right?
Well, theoretically, yes. We tried to do it, and when it's reached on certain scale, it's actually destroying the environment. With the methodology that we do now, because now the existing methodology is you just cut some parts of the seagrass and then you move to the other side. It's okay for the small scale projects, but for big scale project, you just destroy the whole thing, to just move to the other side.
All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, the carbonizers, carbon activists all over the world. Welcome to the Carbon Forum of Indonesia. And with me, Pumbida Hidayatullah. Today we're going to discuss something very interesting. It's about the carbon coastal development, and it is about blue carbon. And by the way, we already reached the 10th episode. Congratulations for all the team for the good efforts. Keep it up. And with us now, we already have a very interesting guest. His name is Bimo Soewadji, the CEO of CarbonEthics. Hello, Pak Bimo. How are you?
Hello, Pak Pumpi. Thanks for having CarbonEthics in the podcast.
Well, it's our pleasure, and thanks for coming. And blue carbon.
Yes.
Carbon is black, right? Why so blue about it?
It's not because our heart is blue, no. It's the carbon.
I'm wearing blue now,
and
I'm not supporting any political.
No specific purpose, right?
This is Texas, So.
All right.
Yeah, tell me about blue carbon.
So blue carbon is the carbon stored in the coastal and marine ecosystem, such as mangrove, seagrass, salt marshes.
Right.
And we know that in Indonesia, we have a top one potential of blue carbon of the world at 17%.
Comprised of 7% is
in Indonesia and comprised of mangrove and also seagrass.
So we can supply all this blue carbon from the Indonesian sort of resources, right?
Well, theoretically, yes.
Okay. But at the moment, how many percent of them already being developed?
I think as of now, there is no blue carbon project under SRM, as we know, right? But there are several of the community forest projects in the previous voluntary mechanisms, right?
Okay.
But versus the potential that we see in Indonesia, I think we kind of lacking from other countries. So we
really?
Even though we have the very long coastlines and also mangrove and also
I think the longest coastline in the world.
One of the longest, and we don't have the biggest mangrove of the world. That's the first one, and the second one, we don't have the seagrass carbon projects yet in Indonesia.
None. Zero. Zip. Nada.
No methodology. The regulation is still currently developing.
What's the potential for the seagrass?
I think as of now, what we see
is eating nori. Maybe that's the thing, right?
I think it's different, Pak.
It's different.
So
I don't know about it. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. So seagrass is obviously different than seaweed. So we know seaweed that what we eat.
Seaweed the one that we eat, and seagrass is.
It's more into
else.
In the coastal commodity where we can actually take economic value out of it.
Okay.
But seagrass is basically where we see the fish nursery and then the food of the dugong, like sea cows. So a lot of biodiversity inside that's very interesting. That we explore.
Well, it's very interesting. And why suddenly the name of your company is, first of all, is CarbonEthics?
CarbonEthics.
What's so ethical about carbon?
I think we started 4.5 years back.
Okay.
At that time as a not-for-profit, Pak.
So
NGO, we do project operations, we do conservation, community-based projects. But starting from 2023, we converted to PT.
All right.
And all of the founders are full-time because it's just too big to operate at that time. And yayasan cannot be profitable, right?
Well, yayasan is actually making money.
It's making money,
you
but
have to
exactly,
consume them all.
yeah.
For all the projects. Yeah.
In 2022, we actually make positive profit.
Ooh.
So that's why we converted to PT, and at the end of the day, we see the potential of become a project developer, starting from blue carbon and now in natural climate
That's very
solutions.
interesting because normally when you do social things and you don't get paid for that, but you do social things and you get paid for that. This is very interesting.
I think that's the dream. Following your passion and also getting money out of it, but it's also does with a challenge, especially with the carbon regulation and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, back to the blue carbons. You mentioned mangrove, seagrass, and what else? The potential for the blue carbon.
Salt marsh, but Indonesia is not for salt marsh. It's always other side of the world. But now mangrove is something that we already acknowledge in the Permen LHK, right?
And what you call it, the potential for the carbon credit supplies is higher than others, right?
Well, I can say that
in terms of comparison of value and volumes or whatever.
As of now, it's more into the value. In the price what we see in the international market is it's higher value. It's because of it's more complex.
Yeah, first of all, it's more complex, and the benefit I think is
the co-benefit it's a lot.
Yeah, it protects from the abrasions.
Yes,
and it's also providing the oxygen. Also,
the social value is also high.
Oh, the social value.
The social value because
why is that?
As Indonesia as archipelagic countries, we are one of the most people that vulnerable to the climate change, especially those who are living in the coastal areas. And by having mangrove, as the coastal defense, it's also increasing the coastal resilience value, right? We somehow monetize that into value. So
that's very interesting. Yeah. So far, when you do the development of the sort of blue carbons or whatever. Do you actually try to persuade people in the coastal area involved in the activities, or how?
Yeah. So the model that we chose at the very beginning is always the community has always been at our deepest core. So they need to be the actors to conserve their backyard.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they will be the first person that impacted by climate change. So we always try to educate them first. So what's the importance of having coexistence with mangrove ecosystem, seagrass ecosystem, and at the end of the day, what they expect is that what's the economic value of it, right?
Okay.
So we try to answer also both concerns.
Now, tell me about your success stories on this blue carbon, and also second of all is probably tell us the story about the pain points that you actually sort of go through, went through. Please.
I think CarbonEthics starting literally from zero is purely because of the passion, and at that time we don't have backgrounds on the this blue carbon.
So learning by doing, yeah.
So we learn by doing and then hire some expert later on. But what we see is that our success story, it's about the community model. Because when we develop blue carbon projects, we need to also ensure the permanence of the projects. Sometimes what we see is that,
the sustainability of the project.
The sustainability, the long-term game. We cannot just plan and then we just run away like that. But making sure that there is a 3 years of monitoring, but not only monitoring, but how the community can be independent even without us after that. And there has to be economic value beyond the years after we do the conservations, such as the commodity business. So this is something that we always try to unlock the model. Yeah, that's the one success story in mangrove, and the other success story is that seagrass is very hard. It's very difficult, and I think we saw also a lot of organizations try to plant seagrass, but we tried to do it, and when it's reached on certain scale, it's actually destroying the environment. With the methodology that we do now, because now the existing methodology is you just cut some parts of the seagrass and then you move to the other side. It's okay for the small scale projects, but for big scale project, you just destroy the whole thing, to just move to the other side.
All right.
So what we try to do, we started with research how to cultivate seagrass, starting from seedlings from the lab, and then moving it to the real site.
Yeah. You can do with what you call it, the cell sort of growth mechanism, like culturing the cells.
Yeah.
You can do it that way, right?
We can do it that way from the lab and then to to the site, but the survival rate is very low. That's why we try to also make how to cultivate it directly to the site, and also involving the community. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what about the biodiversity itself, like fish, and other things in the sea? What's the potential for the carbon sort of credit sectors?
First of all, when we as a project developer develop blue carbon project, it cannot be only the model of protections or planting. It has to be combined with the commodity in order to make the projects really economics.
All right.
Yeah. So the combination of those
you
three.
mean you produce something and then you sell it?
Climate smart aquaculture. Okay. So such as climate smart shrimp, fish, inside the mangrove pond, or seaweed.
Right.
So we have to combine those multiple revenues at the same time beyond the carbon revenue. Yeah.
Okay. So do you get any supports from government, Indonesian government? I mean,
support.
Yeah, I don't know whether from foreign governments, but from Indonesian, not like, for example, in terms of what you call it, advisories, or terms of maybe funding, maybe all these kind of things, policies. Yeah. Do you get any supports from?
So I think from 2019 up until 3 years ahead, we kind of try to connect with the government, spreading the letters, and then after year 3, we got a call responded finally, and then they kind of liked the model of our community interventions in the mangrove and also the research of seagrass. That's how we kind of enter the government space, and I think what I also the carbon ethics stance is that we know now we have challenges in the carbon market and also the regulations, but it's also about how we can also help fulfill the gap, what kind of thing that we can do, as a company, but also to pursue the public interest.
Which ministry is that?
Sorry?
Which ministry?
The seagrass is more into the KKP, for the mangrove, the Directorate of Mangrove in KLHK.
Well, in the end, maybe you have some expectations from the Indonesian governments to basically, create a very sustainable sort of environment for this carbon ecosystem. What do you think? What would you hope for?
Yeah, I think I kind of understand where the government is coming from. And then I think for the business perspective, it's also about how to balance between national interest, also the easy of the doing business, of course, starting from the clear of the license, the clear of the methodology, and all of the steps that we have to done to develop the nature-based solution, especially blue carbon. So because what we see is that yes, we do submit methodology for mangrove, yes, we do. But I think that those sort of efforts needs to be also reciprocated back from the government, and then we can work together, to accelerate the process.
Excellent. Are you a member of one of the associations right now? And what is the association name?
I do a member of, I think, one of the amazing association called ACE11 or ACE-XI.
Great. Welcome to the association. Yeah. So do you enjoy within the association?
I think, the unique thing that I see about the association, the vibe is very, very positive. The vibe is very positive, and people are, have passion, to do and to unlock the things that, on the gap right now. Right. And just to have the passions to prepare the talents of carbon expert of Indonesia. So I think that's something that I really appreciate to join the association.
Great, sounds great. And do you have anything to address for the audience of Carbon Forum, please?
Yeah, I think In terms of doing business in blue carbon and also carbon market in general, we need to be cautiously optimistic. So meaning, yes, there might some multiple scenarios happen. We need to be ready for all of the scenarios as a business practitioners, and also please be patient and also passion in doing this, because this is not a short-term game. This is a long-term game, especially if you want to see the benefit in terms of what is it, the profit and also the impact that you will see in the long run. So
Wait. I mean, the key is actually about the persistency, yeah?
persistency,
and the endurance, persistency.
Yeah.
Because it's not an easy ride.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it that way, then you can reach in the end whatever the goals that you aim for.
It's your life journey.
Okay, great, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bimo,
Thank you,
for
Opom.
joining us. And well, the carbonizers, carbon activists all over the world. That was Bimo Soewadji, the CEO of CarbonEthics. He just explains a lot of things related to the blue carbon. Now we know about the blue carbons, yeah? And basically, blue carbon is something that you create from the carbon development sort of mechanism from the oceanic or coastal sort of environment. And of course, there's still plenty of opportunities ahead for us to explore and develop in that sector. And with CarbonEthics and Bimo, you will actually get help for that. And we will be joining again in the Carbon Forum in the next episode with me, Pompida Hidayatullah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Until next episode.